The diner was warm that night, its buzzing neon sign flickering in the cold December air. Inside, families gathered in booths, sipping coffee, eating pancakes, laughing over late dinners. At the far corner sat a man in his late 30s, his clothes slightly worn, his shoulders heavy with the weight of struggles unseen by strangers. Across from him sat a little girl with brown hair tied in a messy ponytail, her wide eyes fixed on the menu though she couldn't read it all yet. Her name was Emily. She was 6 years old, full of energy, full of curiosity, and tonight she was hungry. Her father, Daniel, pulled out his worn leather wallet, thumbed through its contents, and felt his heart sink. Inside lay only a single $5 bill. He pressed his lips together, forcing a smile for Emily's sake. "What do you feel like eating, sweetheart?" Emily's eyes lit up. "Can I have pancakes, Daddy?" "With syrup." Daniel nodded, though the thought stabbed at his chest. He calculated silently, one short stack would fit under $5. Nothing else. No eggs, no bacon, no hot chocolate she loved, just pancakes. And for himself, he would drink water and pretend he wasn't hungry. He waved over the waitress, a middle-aged woman with tired eyes but a kind smile. "Just one short stack of pancakes, please." The waitress hesitated, glancing at the empty side of the table. "And for you?" Daniel forced a small laugh. "I'm not too hungry tonight. Just coffee." "Black." Emily frowned. "But Daddy, aren't you hungry?" Daniel reached over, ruffling her hair. "I had something earlier." "Don't you worry about me." But Emily, though young, wasn't oblivious. She noticed the way he looked at food lately, the way he always made sure she ate first, the way his cheeks had grown thinner. She bit her lip and lowered her eyes to the table, whispering, "You can share with me, Daddy." From across the diner, another pair of eyes had been watching. At a corner booth, a young man in his late 20s sat with his laptop open, a half-eaten plate of steak and mashed potatoes in front of him. His name was Ryan Carter. At 28, he was already the CEO of a fast-growing tech company that had made headlines in the business world. To most, he was known as brilliant, ambitious, and sharp. But tonight, he wasn't thinking about profits or strategy. Tonight, his attention kept drifting to the little girl and her father. He had noticed the way Daniel carefully unfolded that single bill, the quiet tone of his voice, the forced brightness in his eyes. He had seen men in business suits bluff at poker tables, entrepreneurs fake confidence in boardrooms, but this was different. This was a father's sacrifice, raw, silent, real. Ryan closed his laptop, leaning back. Something stirred in him. He had grown up differently from most of his wealthy peers. He knew what it meant to count pennies. He remembered his own mother working double shifts just to put food on the table after his father passed away. He remembered the empty refrigerator, the nights of canned soup, the way his mom used to smile through her exhaustion to keep him hopeful. That was why he couldn't just sit there tonight. Not when he saw history repeating at the table across the room. The waitress returned with the pancakes and placed them in front of Emily, who grinned with delight. "Thank you," she chirped. The woman smiled and walked away. But Ryan noticed how Daniel quietly pushed the butter toward his daughter, watching every bite she took as though her joy was enough to fill his own hunger. Ryan reached for his wallet, then paused. He knew he couldn't simply walk up and hand them money. That could feel insulting. Pride was a fragile thing, especially for a man doing everything he could for his child. He needed a way to help that preserved Daniel's dignity. So he called the waitress over. Lowering his voice, he said, "Can you do me a favor? Whatever they order, I want to cover it." Quietly. "Don't tell them who it's from." The waitress raised an eyebrow, then smiled knowingly. "Sure thing, honey. That little girl's adorable. And he a broken bar. Well, he looks like he could use a break." But Ryan wasn't done. His eyes softened as he thought. "And a broken bar, could you bring out something extra? A full breakfast plate, eggs, bacon, toast." Put it in front of him. Tell him it's on the house. Just say it's diner policy. The waitress chuckled. "Diner policy, huh? All right, I can play along." When the plate arrived, Daniel looked confused. "Yeah, broken bar, I didn't order this." The waitress gave a rehearsed smile. "It's a new promo tonight. First time customers get a free meal. Manager's orders." Daniel blinked, his lips parting slightly. He hadn't been in this diner before. Could it really be true? He looked down at the steaming plate of food, then back at Emily, who was already pushing her plate toward him. "See, Daddy, now you have food too." His chest tightened. For a moment, he almost argued, almost told the truther that he couldn't pay. But then he saw the waitress's kind eyes, and he realized someone was helping him in a way that let him save face. His throat burned. "Thank you," he whispered. As father and daughter ate together, Emily happily munching pancakes, Daniel quietly savoring each bite of eggs. Ryan sat back in his booth, a faint smile tugging at his lips. But the thought nagged at him, was one meal enough? He had the means to change this man's entire life, but how could he do it without wounding his pride, without making him feel like a charity case? That question lingered, and Ryan knew his night wasn't over yet.